You tell yourself that you're in control, that you just have a short fuse, or that venting your anger is the only way to keep your head. Let's be honest with one another. You aren't in control of anything. You are a slave to impulses you refuse to analyze. You have been sold a dangerous lie that emotions are like water in a pipe, that you must vent, channel, or release them to stop them from exploding. This hydraulic model of anger is the single biggest trap in modern self-help, and it is the primary reason why you find it so hard to maintain your peace of mind in a stressful world. You are not releasing energy. You are practicing a habit of rage, and you are making yourself more prone to losing control every single time you choose to vent. It is time to look at the reality of your own mind, not as a victim of circumstances, but as the architect of your own reactions. And trust me, if you watch until the end, you'll walk away with a completely different perspective on how to get what you want in life without chasing it desperately. Before we get into it, there's a simple free favor I'll ask you. If you appreciate what we're doing here, hit the subscribe button. It takes less than a second, but it helps bring this content to more people who need it. Let's dive in. Most people treat anger as a homogeneous ball of energy that just wells up inside them, completely beyond their control. This is the mistake that keeps you trapped. Modern psychology has finally caught up to what the ancient philosophers knew centuries ago, that anger is not just an involuntary surge of power. It is a complex process, a mixture of thoughts, action tendencies, and deeply held beliefs that you are unknowingly feeding. When you treat anger like a physical force that needs an outlet, you completely ignore the cognitive roots that are actually driving it in the first place. You're trying to fix a faulty belief system with physical exhaustion, and that is why your attempts at emotional regulation are doomed to fail before they even start. If you start with a faulty picture of what anger is, your path toward cognitive resilience is built on sand. When you shout into a wall, you aren't removing the belief that you've been wronged. You are simply exhausting your body while your mind continues to rehearse the grievance. You are essentially teaching your nervous system that anger is the correct response to stress, which only makes the cycle harder to break the next time. It is a feedback loop of your own making, fueled by the very strategies you were told would save you. The Stoics offered a third way, a path that doesn't demand you suppress your feelings, nor does it ask you to indulge in the reckless act of venting. They viewed anger as one of the most serious problems a human being could face. Seneca dedicated an entire book to dismantling this illusion, and Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world at the time, treated his own anger not as an energy to be released, but as a cognitive error to be corrected. He did not go to the gym to let it out. He sat down and he examined his own mind. He knew that to master anger, you must first understand that it operates in two distinct phases. There is the involuntary spark, what the Stoics called the propytheia, the reflex that happens before you even have time to think. And then there is the voluntary, fully blown passion that follows. If you lump these two things together, if you treat the reflex as if it is the same thing as the decision to act on it, you have already lost the battle. Think about the last time you felt that sudden spike of heat in your chest. That was the reflex, the involuntary flash of fire. But what happened next? Did you pause? Did you look at it? Did you question it? Or did you immediately agree with the feeling? Did you say, yes, I am right to be furious, and then feed the fire with more thoughts of how you were wronged? That is where you move from the reflex to the passion. That is where you make the choice, consciously or unconsciously, to become angry. To break free from this cycle, you must adopt the Stoic practice of cognitive challenge. Your anger is built on a foundation of shaky evaluations, beliefs that tell you a specific event is awful or that you must get back at someone. Disrespect might be unpleasant, but it is not inherently awful, and you can prefer that others behave differently without demanding that they must submit to your will. When you feel that spark of anger, stop. Do not vent. Do not channel. Instead, interrogate the belief. Ask yourself, is this truly a catastrophe? Or am I simply demanding that reality conform to my personal preferences? The cure for anger is not a physical release. It is a rigorous, Socratic investigation of your own value judgments. It is about catching yourself in the act of labeling the world. He disrespected me is a fact maybe, or at least a perception. He disrespected me, and therefore he is a terrible person who deserves to suffer, is a value judgment. That is a story you are telling yourself. And the more you tell that story, the more you believe it. We are not talking about becoming a doormat. We are talking about becoming a wall of stone that can withstand the blows of life without shattering. When you believe that someone must treat you a certain way, you have surrendered your peace to them. You have given them the remote control to your nervous system. But when you realize that their behavior is their business, and your reaction is your business, you reclaim your power. It is a subtle shift, but it changes everything. You become a person who can see a problem for what it is, address it if necessary, but never allow it to poison your inner sanctuary. Imagine the difference in your relationships. Imagine the difference in your work. Imagine the difference in how you sleep at night. You are no longer living in a state of constant, low-level combat. You are living in a state of quiet, steady purpose. You are not waiting for the world to change so you can finally be happy. You are deciding right now that your happiness is not something you are waiting for, is something you are constructing brick by brick with every thought you choose to accept and every thought you choose to discard. Think about the advice you have been given your whole life. Go for a run, they say. Hit a bag. Write it all down. But if you go for a run while your mind is still screaming that the world is unfair, you are not healing. You are just exhausted. You are carrying that same faulty belief system into the gym, and you are training your body to associate that belief with adrenaline. We have to address the root. If you are angry, it is because you have formed a belief that you have been harmed, that this harm is unacceptable, and that you are entitled to redress. To solve the anger, you must solve the belief. You must look at the harm and ask, is it really harm? Is it really unacceptable? And who told you that you are entitled to have things go your way? These are hard questions. They require you to be honest with yourself in a way that is profoundly uncomfortable. But that discomfort is where the growth is. That is the labor of the soul, is the work of a man who refuses to be a puppet of his own biology. Throughout the meditations of Marcus Aurelius, you can see him doing this work constantly. He isn't writing about how he suppressed his anger. He is writing about how he reasoned his way out of it. He is reminding himself that the person who offended him is just a human, a person who is mistaken about what is good and bad, a person who is acting out of their own ignorance. He is not saying the offense didn't happen. He is saying it didn't harm his character. And that is the only harm that actually matters. When you realize that your character is the only thing that is truly yours, that it cannot be touched, cannot be bruised, cannot be stolen by anyone, then the offense loses its power. It becomes an inconvenience, like a bit of rain on a day when you are already warm and dry inside. This shift in perspective is what we call cognitive resilience. It is the ability to maintain your integrity in the face of pressure. Most of the time, we are so focused on the external world that we forget we are carrying around an entire universe within ourselves. That inner world is the only place where we have absolute control. If you lose your temper, you have not just lost control of your emotions, you have lost control of the only kingdom you were ever meant to rule. You have allowed the external world, which is by its very nature volatile and unpredictable, to dictate your internal state. And that is the definition of slavery. The Stoics knew this. They knew that a man who can be provoked is a man who can be manipulated. If I know what makes you angry, I own you. If I know what makes you sad, I own you. If I know what makes you desperate, I own you. Freedom, real freedom, begins with the realization that your internal world is your fortress. And the first rule of the fortress is that nothing enters without your permission. Anger is a thief that tries to sneak in, dressed in the robes of righteous indignation. It tries to tell you that it is there to protect you, to help you, to stand up for you. But it is lying. It is there to distract you, to weaken you, to make you act in ways that you will regret 10 minutes later. It is a siren song that leads you onto the rocks. And every time you succumb to it, you are proving that your fortress has a back door that you have forgotten to lock. It's time to lock that door. And the way you lock it is through the practice of reflection. At the end of every day, sit down for 10 minutes. Don't look at your phone. Don't listen to music. Just sit with your own thoughts. Review your day. Ask yourself, at what point today did I lose my center? What was the trigger? What was the belief I accepted? How did I feel? And if you could go back to that moment, what would you do differently? This is not about beating yourself up. It is not about feeling guilty for having felt angry. It is about understanding the anatomy of your own reaction so that you can change the outcome next time. The more you do this, the more you will start to see the patterns. You will realize that you are getting angry at the same things, in the same ways, for the same reasons. You will start to see the trigger before it triggers you. You will feel the spark, that propatheia, and instead of being swept away by it, you will notice it, you will acknowledge it, and you will say, I see you, but I do not agree with you. And in that moment, you have broken the chain. You have turned the involuntary into the voluntary. You have exercised the ultimate power, the power of the pause. That pause is the most important second of your life. It is the space between the stimulus and the response. And in that space, as Viktor Frankl famously said, lies our freedom. When you start to live this way, the transformation is profound. You stop being a slave to external triggers, and you start becoming the master of your own inner landscape. You will find that life's stressors still happen, but they no longer possess the power to turn you into a version of yourself that you do not recognize. You are building a resilience that doesn't just survive the storm, it renders the storm irrelevant to your happiness. This is the ultimate form of strength, the ability to face adversity with a clear mind, a steady heart, and the absolute freedom to choose your own response. It is about understanding that the world is a chaotic, difficult place, but you do not have to be chaotic and difficult along with it. You can be the calm in the center of the hurricane. You can be the one person in the room who sees the truth, who acts with virtue, and who remains unbroken no matter what happens. Imagine the difference in your relationships. Imagine the difference in your work. Imagine the difference in how you sleep at night. You are no longer living in a state of constant, low-level combat. You are living in a state of quiet, steady purpose. You are not waiting for the world to change so you can finally be happy. You are deciding right now that your happiness is not something you are waiting for. It is something you are constructing brick by brick with every thought you choose to accept and every thought you choose to discard. And I want to be clear about something. This is not about becoming a saint. You will still feel the spark. You are human. You will still feel the propotheia. But the difference is that you will no longer be a victim of the passion. You will be the judge of it. You will see it, you will notice it, and you will say, "No, not today." You will not let it turn into a fire that burns down your house. This is a practice. It is something you do every single morning when you wake up and every night before you close your eyes. It is the habit of being the master of your own house. And it is the most difficult work you will ever do. But it is also the most important. If you can master yourself, you can master your life. This is the Stoic journey. It is not about the absence of emotion. It is about the presence of reason. It is about knowing who you are, what you value, and refusing to let anyone or anything else define that for you. It is about living a life that is truly yours, not one that is forced upon you by the expectations of others, the pressures of society, or the volatile moods of your own mind. It is a life of freedom, and freedom is not free. It is earned. It is earned through the daily practice of checking your thoughts, examining your beliefs, and choosing virtue over convenience. This journey is not meant to be walked alone. We are all learning, all struggling, all trying to find our way in a world that often demands we be angry. I want to know about your own experience with this shift. I want to hear about the reality of your struggle, because that is where the truth lives. In the comments section below, tell me about a moment where you chose to investigate your anger instead of venting it. Tell me about the moment you saw the belief for what it was and chose to let it go. What did you discover about yourself in that moment? Was it easier than you thought, or was it the hardest thing you ever did? Let us learn from each other. Let us build a community that understands that strength is not in the shouting, but in the silence. Until next time, remember, the work of refining your mind is the most important labor you will ever undertake. And it is a labor that never ends for the better. The journey toward becoming a person who cannot be easily disturbed is not a destination, but a continuous path. One that requires your constant attention, your unwavering commitment, and your deepest honesty. So, stay vigilant, stay aware, and continue to build the fortress within.